All right. Okay, today is Monday, April 14th, so I'm going to call to order our Plan Commission meeting. The first item on our agenda tonight is to review and approve the minutes from Site Plan and Plan Commission, both from March 24th. I'm open to taking both of those together. If there's a motion to do so.
So moved.
Thank you. Motion by Lampy, second by Mr. Krieger. Any discussion from anybody? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, very good. Okay, we have three separate items tonight, all pertaining to Edgefield. The first is the certified survey map. Brian,
All right, so we have a proposal for a one lot certified survey map to split the existing home from the larger parent parcel. The remainder of the parent parcel is proposed for the 55 lot Edgefield subdivision plat. The CSM does have the appropriate elevation information for the airport. No right of way will be dedicated from the CSM. All right of way will be dedicated from the proposed plat. So the recommendation would be to approve the CSM.
all right. Questions or comments on the CSM? That's loose. All three of these are, it's about the same project. So here's what I'm thinking. We don't specifically have public comment. The CSM is a splitting of a parcel. My hunch is final plat is probably where we could have received some feedback from folks if any of you three want to offer it there. With the awareness then that like the official public hearing is the third item that they'll do, and that's setting the public hearing for May 6th. So I think if we want to go through the CSM, which is just parceling off parcels, and then have comment at the final plat combo, if that we can hear from folks if they have some feedback there, if that's okay with everybody. Okay. Okay, so it looks like we don't have any recommendations on this one, on the
Nope, just
CSM.
approve it as presented.
Okay, does anyone have any comments or questions? Is there a motion then to approve the CSM?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Blanky, second by Mr. Krieger. Comments? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, the next one then is to review and take action on the Edgefield subdivision final plat. I'm gonna have Brian set the stage for us first. Brian.
So this is a 55 lot subdivision plat with a mixture of single family and twin home lots. Parkland for this plat is being proposed to be dedicated in adjacent Hep Heights subdivision on an outlot. That outlot size will satisfy the need for 42 of the 55 lots for Parkland dedication. They have paid the fee of the remaining 13 lots, fee in lieu of dedication. The plat will extend Linda Lane and Ryan Ridge to the south. It will add a stub road, an undeveloped stub road called Harrington Way. River Road will also extend over from County Highway A, and another stub road will be called Slavny Way to the west. So there are three recommended conditions of approval for this. One would be to, or actually recommend before it gets sent to Common Council for approval, would be to obtain the erosion control and stormwater permits, place a note on the plat regarding the Parkland dedication fees. And also there was an earlier version of the plat was sent to Jefferson County and the state. They provided comments on that version, and a slightly different version was sent in again. We've not heard back from the state on that, but we're not anticipating any additional issues. But if there are any, that would be the third condition, that they make any of those additional corrections requested by the county or the state. So the recommendation would be to send the final plat to Common Council for approval with those conditions.
Okay. Before I turn it over for questions, I do want to just kind of publicly acknowledge and thank the developer for meeting us at our request to name those two streets after our city planners. So those names may be familiar to you. Mr. Slavny was our city planner for, you might have even worked with Mike for a very, very long time. He used to sit on this body. And so we worked with their families and we were honored to be able to have a road be named after him. That was kind of our way of memorializing him and his work to our community. And then also for most of you in this room, you've worked with Scott Harrington, who unfortunately got sick and passed away quite quickly. And so to be able to have Harrington Way and Slavny Drive are just really, really important to a lot of us that have worked for a long time for the city, and just a really beautiful way, I think, to memorialize their impact in our community. So please pass along our gratitude. We're very thankful that Luce met us at that request so willingly. So with that, Brian has listed out a few conditions for us. I want to first hear from anybody around the U on any questions or comments you all may have. And then in a moment, I'll see if there's any comments from folks that are present as well. Anything from you all? Just want to make sure I don't have anybody. Nope. Okay. And then anybody that in the room that would like to share any feedback? Again, with the awareness is that I presume these folks will set a public hearing date as well for the Common Council in just a moment here, but. Yep, come on up to the mic though, please.
Green, great. Hi, my name is Brooke Alexander. I have some concerns about the current development plans, which is interesting because I'm one of the owners, co-owners of the property. When we started working with Luce, we were really excited, and we have been really excited to work with Luce. They've been really accommodating to like a lot of our concerns about the property. But since going through with these plans, I've had a renewed interest in the corridor further down, further along the environmental corridor. I've been interested in a property on the Rock River called the Kerr property for quite some time. And that property is, I put in an offer on that property about a year ago, so I've been interested in this property for a while. And it relates to this property as it's connected by, there's a stream that goes from this property, meanders like along kind of city property and then some of my dad's property, and meets up with the Rock River on the property that I'm interested in. And so that property that I'm interested in was newly on the market recently. And so I started looking at my development that's going on upstream and realized that I haven't been as appreciative as I should have been about the headwaters here in this stream. There's a retaining pond that's just to the north of the, we've been calling it the Luce development subdivision. And you can see that, yeah, thanks, Emily, that like
Sure.
dark green area there.
This one?
West and on the other side and now north. There, yeah.
Sorry.
That little like tiny corner that's in the city that we're retaining under our contract, and then the dark green though extends on that northeast corner of the Luce development property, further south, your cursor, yeah, and then north. That is a piece of forested land that is where the headwaters of the stream that goes like, here, can I point it? Can I
Yeah,
like go point?
I have a
I-
laser pointer. Would that
I
be
was like,
helpful?
I do not
Yeah,
have one, but.
I don't know if I'll be able to
I
like.
mean, you don't like listening to Brooke, have to direct me 85 different
A little to the
directions.
left.
Yeah, a little to the right, a little to the left. I was actually,
Okay, hold on. Does it work without being plugged into a computer? Let's see. There you go. Here it is.
It works.
oh, and sometimes they don't show up on TV screens. That's always tricky. Did you know this? Some of them don't show up on TV screens.
Ah,
Like that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
sadness.
Yeah, that's the
okay.
thing.
It's okay.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, well, it's the stream, you can see. It starts up here, this is the retention pond, and then it starts up here at the headwaters, and it goes this way and this way, like basically the dark green. And then it goes this way, this is wastewater treatment facility,
Mhm.
goes south. Goes all the way to, this is the Kerr property. That I'm interested in making into a nature preserve, because that's the highest and best use for that property. But then my brother-in-law pointed out that I'm gonna sell off this other property and cut down the headwater trees that are on it, and I was like, oh no. So I'm really hoping that we can work with Luce to kind of potentially reimagine that corner of the property in a way that serves my interests further downstream, which feels real late to the game for Luce, but I'm hoping that we can potentially work collaboratively, especially because this new development has necessitated the sewer lateral And so now there's a lot more development potential, I think, along this whole corridor on Milford Street. And my family owns some of the ag fields there on the, a lot
This
of
way.
this ag. And we're happy to see that. I think housing makes a lot of sense in that direction. And so we hope that in jeopardizing this one little part of this current property, we might be able to work collaboratively more in the future and make sure we're doing the highest and best use of land for what land's value is. And there is a old growth bur oak tree in that dark area there that is 153 inches in circumference and probably 200 to 300 years old. And that to me alone is pretty irreplaceable.
So I know on the plat, I see outlot too.
Yes, most of the area she's referring
Let
to
me
would
flip
be,
back over here, Brooke. So right here, right?
yes,
Outlot
that would be
2.
part of outlot 2.
So I can't,
Part of that is retention pond over there, I think.
I don't know if anyone can speak to that for us.
I don't know exactly where and if a pond is being built over there. I don't know.
Wetland field delineated.
But it is, both outlots are mainly designed for stormwater purposes, so. It possibly could go to the south, and leave the wooded area to the north, which probably would help, with the, runoff anyway and stormwater,
Well, I think I think what may be best to do with the feedback is to have you all have a conversation about it. I mean, that at this point, I think if you want to share it as well, it'll be in our meeting notes, but if you feel encouraged to share it at the public hearing as well, you definitely can do that so other elected officials hear that same feedback. But I think I don't know if you're the appropriate person, you're just, not just the designer, but I don't know if you can speak on behalf of.
Stormwater management on all. Here will actually exceed the city's requirements for water quality. So what ran off this property as farm field will be clean. It will be actually better for the stream than
Mhm.
it was before, because we're not going to be plowing up this field every spring and having that runoff.
Mhm.
It'll be lawns, it'll be maintained, water quality facilities on outlot 2. So water will be better coming off this property than it was as a farmer's field.
But maybe not as good as if it were reimagined to maintain some of the old growth and root structure that is so valuable. And it doesn't seem, and we also have the lot that we haven't, the lot that we're retaining. Do you know, and
Yeah, the CSM lot, yeah.
no, not the triangle lot, the house.
Oh, that lot there, yeah.
Yeah. And then I think in the current plans, that's split into 2, right? So we've got one vacant lot and one with the house.
Well, that's an existing lot. We're not doing anything with that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not included in our offer of purchase. We're only going from that dashed line west. And we've done a CSM, which was just approved to divide off your existing farmstead, which is going to be retained by the family.
Mhm.
And then we need that recorded so we can close on the rest of the land.
Yeah, and we want this process to move forward as quickly as possible too, and we know that you do. My ask in that, I don't know if renegotiating our purchase agreement would be the most expeditious thing to do this. Or I'm not even like suggesting it at this point, but I was considering that if we are retaining a second lot that is vacant, could that lot be compensated for in the northeast corner? Like, could we trade you a lot to maintain some of those trees?
You'd have to talk to the developer about that. I mean, so the trees on the right side aren't as good as the trees on the left.
Well, no, we're retaining the triangle.
Yeah.
This one.
What I'm saying is like, if we have this vacant lot here that we are retaining as a result of retaining this. Yeah. Then could we renegotiate our purchase agreement, trade off this lot for this In this area, I'm seeing the old road there.
It'd be tough, that's where water goes.
Yeah.
So when you extend that road, you're gonna need to clean the water that comes off that road, and that's where it goes.
Can you pull up this, the CSM again? Or just the, yeah, just the map.
I will, I have to. This is what you're looking for? Yep. What I'm suggesting is, I think for the purposes of just continuing the process and hearing your feedback, I think it's important for Plan Commission to hear that. I think it's important for the Common Council to hear it. And then it sounds like there is a conversation that you all just as like landowner and developer could be having without the Plan Commission being a part of that conversation. That's what I'm suggesting.
Uh-huh.
So
But from here, though, the plan is to have the next voting is on the plan. Or what happens next?
from here, it would
Sorry.
go to council for the final plat to be approved. So this is just us recommending or not recommending to the council. So next week already is that, or do you have it in 2 more weeks?
It's delayed because of the rezoning to it, so
Okay,
it will go, I can give you the exact date here. We'll go to council on May 20th, along with the
oh,
first
we have
reading
the
of the
public hearing.
first reading of the rezoning for the twin home lots.
So you would essentially have until May 20th
Okay,
before it would get like final one way or the
Gotcha.
other.
okay,
Is that
Okay.
helpful?
yeah, that's
Okay.
helpful. All right, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Brooke. Gentlemen?
All right, so I got a few questions, probably not gonna be answered today, but just something to think about with this. First and foremost, is there any material right now that shows the grading of the new subdivision that maybe I just didn't see yet? And the
Is-
reason why I'm
do you have a
asking
grading
is,
plan?
if we're looking at this, I'm lot 22, so I'm the backside, I think of
Right,
lot 51 or 52. It's one-
right here, are you right? Oh,
22.
22, there we
Yep.
go.
So where lot 51 starts versus my backyard, there's about a 7-foot difference, a 7-foot drop into my yard. So I just don't know if they're like grading that flat with the rest of our subdivision. Or if they're trying to keep that, and if they're trying to keep that, how do we mitigate water draining down into my yard? You know, just some questions about
I
that.
can answer that. If you wanna look, we've got a ditch running here. Here's your lot here.
Do you have those drainage plans
Here,
yet?
this is a.
No, that's part of what Maureen needs them to submit yet.
this
Yeah.
is storm sewer.
Which lot am I on to just?
Yeah, that's just easement for ditches.
Right, I was like, I
Literally
don't
just
see,
worked out.
I didn't see the contours
You
either.
just storm, they'll pick it up, storm sewer, and bring it over here.
So is this not used? My house and their yard? Where the ditch is?
Yes, I will just be open space.
All right, cool. Next are the offered townhomes, the new offered townhome idea. Are those for purchase or for rent? Do we
Typically,
Do
those
not.
are purchased.
purchase?
And
Okay,
What that does, it allows more affordable home.
Sure.
Because it's a duplex with a lot line running right down the middle of it. You're
Mm.
only buying half a house.
okay. Do we know the effects of the value for our houses then, having those in the same neighborhood?
I can tell you from all the projects that we've done with multifamily, we haven't identified data that supports multifamily having a negative impact on home values.
Okay,
And that is coming from conversations around higher density than twins. So I can't imagine that twins would present a barrier that say a, 8-plex or 10 wouldn't present.
okay.
But that's me. And the feedback and the research we've done for other projects, Mason would,
Anecdotally, I mean, this is kind of topical on Rock River Ridge on the former Bethesda property. There's a total of 9 twin home builds going up, so that's 18 units. Side by side, very similar to this. And at the same time, Harbor Homes has started, they have their first 12 single-family lots that are immediately adjacent to those twin homes. Those 12 lots have already all sold, so, you know, those are starting just under $400,000 for those single-family homes, so it doesn't seem that the proximity of the twin homes is negatively impacting the market demand or value for those single-family homes.
All right, I think I read somewhere in some of this material before I came today that there was a park in place, but then the park was removed. Maybe I'm misreading it. Which I thought was something that we fought for in a
Yeah.
previous meeting.
There was a mistaken label on Outlot 2 that it was supposed to be the park.
Okay,
Well, the park's actually gonna be the piece, the outlot in Hep Heights at the end of Ryan Ridge.
okay,
There's a vacant
Yep.
piece up there, and
Yep.
that's where the park will be dedicated.
okay, so we will have one.
Right,
Yep, yep, right there, yep.
in this area here.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. With the school board referendum failing to pass, and possible repercussions with that, and whatever educational resources we might be lacking, then because of it, we're probably gonna have a lot of families moving into these houses. Do we have any thought on educational resources to, you know, give a better quality of education to all these kids that might be coming in and moving in here?
I generally don't attempt to intersect with a jurisdiction of government I don't have any say over, but it's my last day. So so the only thing I'll have to offer is, you know, from all the information that's been provided to me as a leader of this community, we're experiencing declining enrollment. So where there is difficulty in funding, it's because there aren't enough children coming in. And so increases in housing that supports families is beneficial to the district. The more students they have, that impacts their ability to secure more funding from the state because they're funded per pupil. Did I get that right? Communications director for the school district?
Doing a good job.
Thank you. So that is what I know, as a leader, is that we're in we're in the position that the district is in because enrollment is declining, which means funding declines. So if we can have more opportunities for families to move here, that allows those spaces to be refilled in our elementary schools and throughout the district, and then increases their ability to secure funding.
Sure, we could keep going on a tangent with this, so I'm not going to, but I feel like we're kind of behind the 8 ball already now, it seems like, with our buildings being a little bit older and needing to be reconditioned and, you know, word of possible
Did you
shutdowns.
talk to this man in the back here?
I haven't.
Oh,
I
he's
haven't.
literally the facilities manager for the school district.
haven't.
Is that
I
right?
just have 2
Yeah.
young kids, so I care about that.
Oh, no, I'm with you. And I sincerely, again, because it's my last day, I'd encourage you to, if you don't already, to go to school board meetings and share those exact sentiments. We just don't have the ability in this level of government to have direct oversight of that here.
All right, so going along with that, my kids are 3 years old and a year and a half, so they're here for daycare full time.
Mhm.
And they were at the EEC, which tomorrow is being shut down. And we had to scramble to try to find daycare, and we ended up getting lucky and found a place for both of them. I know a lot of my kids' friends, though, didn't find
Mhm.
places. Again, if we have a lot of families moving into these houses, we're already a very underserved community when it comes to childcare. Do we have any plans or ideas in mind, you know, to kind of bolster that and boost that up, especially to accommodate any new families moving in and the current ones?
Yeah, so the childcare is something that we tackled pretty early on in my time. Part of our American Rescue Plan Act dollars went to incentivizing and trying a pilot program of employer-sponsored childcare. So the city is certainly, like I know that my team and I have worked with TSL Roots, we worked with the Y, we've worked with Kitty Campus. I'm sure I'm forgetting another center. We worked with,
Campus was the one we were able to get in.
we worked with
thankfully.
Ladybug as they were opening. So we've assisted and encouraged the growth and development of some that you would see out in the community now, but your comments are spot on. We need a new center to replace that one because we are a childcare desert. So I don't have much ability to say what'll happen after me.
Sure.
But I think it's good for the planning commission, who's charged with, you know, planning for the needs, the land use of the city, rather, to hear that feedback. It's definitely something that's gonna have to be refocused on.
Okay. And then the last one I got, with the current economic turmoil and the possibility of building materials skyrocketing in
Mhm.
price.
Mhm.
I know originally the original plan where most of these houses were gonna be sold at about 400K. Obviously, you're gonna have some cheaper houses now with the townhomes. Um, right now in the current market, you need a household income of about $130,000 annually to afford comfortably a $400,000 house. I know we don't necessarily have jobs in this community that is offering, $130,000 annual household income, even if there's two people working full-time in that household. So with that said, um, are these the houses going down in price? Or would the plan still to sell them somewhere at around 400K or possibly even higher? Do we have any idea?
No idea what.
Okay, fair enough. Um, and if they stayed at 400K or went up in price to accommodate the building material, do we have any evidence that's going to show that they can quickly fill these houses, have people purchase these houses? Because I know right now with the last research I did, the Wisconsin in general is showing signs of cooling in the housing market. It was a 7.2% drop since last September.
I'm not going to speculate on the business plan of a developer. I can just share with you, we do have employment opportunities in this city that support $130,000 a year in a household. I know that because I am friends with people that live here and work here.
Sure.
And what we've always focused on in our time together was, and you maybe have heard me say this, but housing as a system. So the goal isn't always just to aim for one end of the market, it's to work in all phases of that market. So traditional multifamily to less dense multifamily to small lot, single family, to traditional larger lot, single family. We've worked on that spectrum to open up gaps in each one of those steps. So we know that if, for example, if these homes are built, that I'm using myself as an example, then I can sell my house and my house isn't $400,000. So then that couple or single person right below me can purchase my house and then the cycle continues. Or seniors that are downsizing can then re-enter the market at a lower cost home or a smaller home. So our strategy has been to infuse and do work in each level.
For sure.
We also know that because we're in a housing shortage throughout the area, throughout the state, but specifically also in our region, and we do not have the power capacity to be landing massive, massive manufacturers, that our piece of that puzzle is housing. And so Jefferson is able to field large power capacity needs for places like Hikoman because places like Tyson, closed. And so they're able to field that, and our goal is to build the housing for those folks to live in. So it's not just about existing residents, it's also about the attraction of other folks that live in the area. That's just the strategy that we've deployed in the last 6 years. That strategy very well may change, but that's the perspective of getting some of these projects to this point.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I totally get the idea of, having a starter home, selling it, having the equity in it and upgrading. Unfortunately, I'm not even at that luxury. I bought my house in 2018, brand new, for 268.
Mhm.
And right now it's valued somewhere at around 4, and I have a lot of equity in it already because I've spent 6.5, 7 years building equity in it and I put a large down payment on it.
Mhm.
But, I'm also locked in at a 3% interest rate when right now interest rates are 7. So it's not even financially smart of me to think about
I
moving.
understand.
And I think a lot of people are in that boat, which is why it's creating this financial or this housing crisis to begin with. I think a lot of people would like to upgrade. All right, that's all I got.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
So most of the questions I had were asked already. My big concern is stormwater with the steep grade on the backside of the properties abutting Casey Drive. I noticed that on the plat, there were 10-foot easements on each of the planned lots, but there's no easement listed between the planned lots and existing lots. So you said that there was a dash line drawn and you have a ditch line. Is that an easement or is that not an easement?
There was going to be an easement, not gonna be on the property line, it's gonna be south of the property line. And it will run all the way down here. through here. That's what conforms to the grade and bring everything into that basin.
So before it gets to, when it goes to the city council or whatever
me
our
get-
next opportunity for input
There we
is,
go.
that will be on the plan and listed.
Yep.
And I'm gonna have Andrew point this out too.
There's a typical lot on the top left of the plat that shows the easement in the rear lot at 5 feet wide.
Yeah,
Right
that-
here.
That's where my concern is. That's a, what'd you say, 7 foot drop off on your lot? To, I mean, as it comes down the hill, that lot, that drop off gets bigger, I think, at the corner of. I mean, we're gonna go grade change in a 5 foot easement? That to me seems like, I don't know how that's gonna
No,
work.
it's gonna be, that's their typical easement they want. We're adding an additional easement.
So you're gonna cut back the lot,
Yeah.
come down and manage water that way. So the water is still going to the back of the lot and going down. It's not coming all
Right.
to Edgefield Court. Okay. And then the other question I have was just in following through with this, the park dedication is already a park dedication, correct? I mean, wasn't that a park dedicated in the Hep Heights?
No, that's just an outlot.
Okay, so it's dedication, nothing saying we're moving forward with the park or anything like that. It's just a dedication to the city if they wanted to build a park there.
Yeah, so it'd be parkland and then the park and rec board would be the ones who would
Yep.
ultimately develop that.
Awesome, thank you.
And that's a topic that, so Carrie's here as the Park and Rec representative. So that's something that once this actually is up and running, then they take from there and budget for the improvement of the park. This is why we have you on this body.
Yeah.
It's not all the time that we have parks to actually talk about. Most of the time it's other types of development, but. All right, great, really good questions, everyone. I just want to circle back to the group. Any questions from all of you? Otherwise, what we're looking for is a recommendation of the final plat with the conditions that are noted of obtaining the erosion control and stormwater permits, noting on a note that shall be placed on the plat prior to recording, noting the parkland dedication and or in fee lieu of, and then any further corrections requested by Jefferson County or the DOA prior to final recording. That was all of them. Okay. Anything else from anyone? Is there a motion then to that effect?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Blanky. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Kenizer.
Just to be
Yes.
clear that is a motion to forward to council,
Yes,
not.
to recommend approval is what it is. But yeah,
Thank you.
thank you for clarifying it. All right.
That's just so that it's when I'm watching this and writing it later.
Oh,
I have-
yes. That's a good note. Make sure that you share that with the next person that chairs this meeting to repeat that back. All right. Okay, if we have a motion and a second to recommend approval of the final plat with those conditions, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, very good. Our next is an initial review and just the setting of a public hearing date. This is for the rezoning of Edgefield. Brian, you want to just give us a quick update?
Yeah, so it's the initial review and setting of a public hearing date to change selected lots from single family to two-family residential, a total of 14 lots. They're shown on the attached exhibit in the packet. And so the recommendation would be to schedule that public hearing on May 6th at the Common Council.
All right. Any questions for Brian on that? Or a motion to set that date? So moved. Motion by Ms. Lampe to
Second.
set the public hearing date, seconded by Mr. Byer. Discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, very good. Next is a topic called recognition.
This is to recognize the mayor's last
Mm.
plan commission meeting
you.
here. She's done this for 6 years. You weren't on before that, were you?
I was not,
Were
no.
not. So 6 years she's led the plan commission and we thought it appropriate to give her a little certificate of appreciation
Oh,
for her
thank
time
you.
served on the plan commission.
Appreciate it. This body is a really important one, especially as Mason and our team continue to bring projects forward to our elected officials. So thank you to our residents that are willing to serve on this committee, and I just really would encourage you all to continue with this work. It's really important to have people that have diverse experiences in planning and in our community to make sure that we have a good representation here. So thank you to our residents, Thank you, Mr. Blanky. You just get it. Actually, you chose to be on this one. I was gonna say you just got assigned to it, but you didn't. So thank you. And you know that I'm glad for you too. So
Round
I
of applause
appreciate
for
it.
Emily.
Oh, thank you. All right, with that, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
I think you should make that motion.
Oh,
being your
sure.
Last meeting.
I will. I'll make the motion to adjourn at 5:05. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Talaga. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. That's all she wrote. Let's see here. Nothing like keeping me